Paint the rainbow.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm here with another question of the week. So, like many of you, I'm sure, I'm also on social media. One day I was scrolling through and I saw a post about a person who had painted the blades of their fan with three primary colors. When they turned it on, the fan turned into a color wheel, sort of like a rainbow. They had a picture with it, but since it's pretty easy to Photoshop anything nowadays, I wanted to know, is that an actual thing that can happen? Therefore, my question today is this. When I paint three blades with the primary colors and spin them really fast, will the colors blend into a rainbow? In order to come up with a hypothesis, I need to figure out what I already know. So, I know that there are three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. When you mix these colors with each other, they create secondary colors. Red and yellow make orange, yellow and blue make green, and blue and red make purple. Now I know that color is just light being reflected off of a surface. Light travels in waves of different frequencies and gets absorbed by whatever surface it comes in contact with. The color that we see is a specific frequency being bounced back into our eyes. For example, this stuffed duck. The light from my lamp is hitting my duck, but the yellow frequency is being rejected or is bouncing off, so my duck looks yellow. Some surfaces absorb all frequencies of light, meaning that none bounce back. When this happens, we get the color black. Other surfaces don't absorb any light frequencies, and they all bounce back at once, giving us the color white. Sometimes light goes through an object, like a prism, a piece of glass, or even just the rain, where the frequencies of light get split up and separated. This is where we get to see a rainbow, all the color frequencies as individuals. Side note, when there is light, there is also heat. Since black absorbs all colors, black also absorbs more heat than any other color. That's why you're more likely to heat up in the summer if you're wearing black or darker clothes than you would if you were wearing white or lighter clothes. Okay, so now we know how colors work, but I still have to come up with my hypothesis. If I spin my fan, then the colors could mesh together from their original starting points to create a rainbow effect. But it could also turn white, as they all bounce off from the same spot. I think that it is more likely the option that they will blend together because my colors won't be close enough to be coming from the same point of origin, even if they're spinning together really fast. What do you think is going to happen? Pause the video and think about your prior knowledge before continuing to see what happens next.
So here are all my materials laid out on the table. I have 3 paint, some cardboard boxes, a paper plate, pencil, ruler, hole punch, scissors, and paintbrush. These are the paints that I bought. I bought them from Dollarama. There is bright yellow, Christmas red, and Copenhagen blue. They're all fast drying paint.
So because I don't have a fan or $95 to go out and buy a fan, I'm going to be cutting my own blades out of a cardboard box. I'm going to be using a ruler to measure and make sure that my blades are all the same size, just so that we don't get any interference.
So here I have drawn out where all my blades are going to go on this old Raisin Bran box. Then I cut them out into their equal pieces and hole punch them in the middle. Then after that, I poured the paint out into individual circles. I wasn't sure exactly how much paint I was going to need just because I haven't really painted in a long time. But I was absolutely thrilled with the colors that came out because this is exactly the color that I picture when I say red or yellow or blue. So after I cut out my pieces, I painted them completely with 2 layers so that the color of the cardboard wouldn't come through. And since it's fast drying paint, it didn't take too long.
So I've now finished painting. I'm just waiting for my blades to dry, and I'm gonna get out my glue gun so that I can glue the pieces all together, and we'll see what happens from there.
While I'm waiting for my glue to dry, I thought I would take a picture of my glass of water that I was using to rinse off my paintbrush. So this is just a mixture of the runoff of the yellow and red paint, and to my surprise, because I know that red and yellow make orange, this is pink. So I was interested to see why is my water pink and not orange. So I was curious wondering whether that was going to have an effect when my blades actually were spun.
Okay, so my paint is dry, my glue gun's ready. Now I just need to connect all three of them together. So what I've done is I've put them into a triangle so that they're kind of evenly spaced out with the holes that I already punched in the middle. And I'm just gonna glue them like so. And then we'll put it on my pencil and spin it around and see what happens. So they're all glued together now. It's in a Y shape, so I'm wondering if when I spin it together, is the more prominent yellow going to play a part when I spin it? Let's see.
Time to spin! So here, this is me attempting to spin my piece. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to spin it, so I just stuck my pencil through and I'm spinning with my finger, trying to not hit myself in the face while also seeing the colors. As you can see, it's not really working. I don't have much of a strategy on how to get it to go. I'm not really sure what to do next.
So I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to spin my fan. So what I'm going to do is, or what I realized, is that fans are curved. They need a bit of the blade to be curved for the air to catch in order for it to move. And mine doesn't have that. So I'm going to use some extra bits from the cardboard that I cut off, and I'm going to glue it to the sides, and we'll see what happens from there.
Time to spin! Attempt number 2. Here you can see this is where I have glued the sides to my different blades so that it mimics a watermill where it kind of scoops and is able to catch the air and keep pushing the blades in a rotation.
Bars have been added. Let's see if it spins this time. I'm gonna need stronger wind.
Time to spin! Attempt number 3.
All right, so I went and got another fan that is unpaintable, and we're going to use that to see how it works. So there are 3 settings: slow, medium, and fast. We're going to start with the slowest, see what happens, and hopefully it will work. I need it closer. Okay, so the slow does not seem to be getting anything. Let's see what happens when we put it on medium. Still nothing. What about high? Oh. I need a better spinner, it appears. We're going to secure my fan to my spinner and come on back.
Time to spin! Attempt number 4.
Okay, so I've got a rubber band. I'm going to try using a paper clip instead. It seems like high was the one that it went off of the best, so we're going to go with that. It works. It moves. Okay, so we can't see my colors. We're going to have to change the angle, but that's doable. So far, I don't see much changing amongst the colors. I wonder, I have a faster speed than this. The yellow does seem to be prominent though. So I have one more guess as to what I could do. We'll have to see what happens.
Time to spin! Attempt number 5. So this attempt we decided to use a drill instead because drills can spin a whole lot faster than I was getting with just the wind from the fan. But unfortunately, drills do what drills do best, and they go through things, which I didn't take into account. So when I would just put my fan on the drill, my blades actually ended up moving towards the center of the drill. So we ended up taping my blades to the fan and trying again. Time to spin, attempt number 6.
So now we're in the basement because my fan experiment didn't work using the fan. So we've taped my blades to a drill bit attached to a drill. That way it won't move along the bit, it's just going to stay in place. And we're going to see what happens. And hopefully we'll be able to see some color, some changes, and it will go fast enough this time. So let's go. So I wasn't able to see from the back, but I'm going to go review my video and see what happens.
Some observations. So this is a screenshot of when my fan was going at its fastest, and here are some of my observations. Overall, it didn't work like I was anticipating. There's no rainbows, but the colors aren't turning white either, they're just staying separate. You can clearly see the red, blue, and yellow blades here, here, and here. But if you look closely between the red and blue, however, you can actually see a tiny bit of purple. On the other hand, if you look right in the middle, you're also able to see some white as well. One of the reasons why my experiment didn't work is probably because of the color proportions. Remember when I glued my pieces together? Unlike a real fan where each of the blades is its own separate thing, I layered my blades on top of each other. This means that the frontmost piece, in this case yellow, had a lot more area or color showing when compared to my blue and red pieces. The yellow was overpowering the other colors, meaning that they didn't really get a proper chance to shine or influence the overall color of the fan, leaving us with a tricolored fan and no rainbow. So, in sum, our question was, when I paint 3 fan blades with the primary colors and spin them really fast, will the colors all blend into a rainbow? And we learned that making your own color wheel is a lot harder than it looks. There's a lot of factors that go into it. We also learned that when one color is more prominent than the other colors, it will become dominant and take over. Here's a quote from Thomas Edison, who is one of the most famous inventors of all times. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways it won't work." Just because I didn't find the answer I was looking for doesn't mean that I failed. Sometimes we learn through trial and error, just like I did today. When my fan wasn't spinning the way I wanted, I didn't give up and say, well, I guess we'll never know. Instead, I tried again and again and again and again. I tried 6 different times, each time reflecting and tweaking part of my experiment. Today, there was a lot more errors than answers, but we still learned. An important part of science and experimenting and learning in general is reflecting on how it went and what are the next steps. Ask yourself, what could I improve upon? What's a better way to get my answers? And why did I get the results that I did? Most importantly, ask yourself, what's next? So, now, where do I go next? I want to know what would happen if all of my blades were actually the same size. What would happen if I used pastel colors instead of bright colors like I did? If I painted all 7 colors of the rainbow on a fan, would it make a rainbow when spun? And what would my fan look like if I painted the blades in horizontal stripes instead of solid colors? These are all great questions for another time, but maybe you can try them out for yourself. Let me know your findings in the comments below. Special thanks to all the people who made and released these awesome PowerPoints for free. Presentation template by Slides Carnival and graphics by Unsplash. We'll see you all next time. Keep learning and have a great day.